Hello and welcome to TVC Midday News. We start off at the National Assembly, where the Senate has asked all states to immediately comply with the Supreme Court judgment on full financial autonomy across the 774 local governments. The Senate's resolution followed a motion of urgent importance on an alleged move by some state governors to circumvent the implementation of the Supreme Court judgment. National Assembly correspondent Jesu Adeoye has more.
7 of our 1999 Constitution as amended.
Senator representing Anambra North, Tony Nwuyi, presents a matter he considers urgent before the Senate. The lawmaker in his motion alleges an attempt by some state governors to divert monies meant for local governments to states' joint account, which is against the Supreme Court judgment backing full financial independence to local governments.
Few state governments, through their respective state House of Assembly, through their different state House of Assembly, seek to enact laws, while some have already enacted laws and continue to take action that undermine the financial autonomy of local governments, thereby breaching the constitutional provision 1999 Constitution as well as the judgment of the Supreme Court.
There is urgent need to amend Section 7 of 1999 Constitution as amended to further guarantee the autonomy of local government.
The decision of the Supreme Court.
However, some of his colleagues argue that the matter is not debatable as the position of the Supreme Court supersedes all. This mild argument later led to an emergency closed session to further discuss the matter.
I believe discussing this issue will amount to overclouding it, or overflowing the issue.
We have a larger duty to do than to debate. So, in my experience as a former commissioner for local government, the state government also has a part of its monthly allocation, which it contributes to the local governments.
While urging all states to ensure strict compliance, the Senate vows to begin alteration to relevant sections of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution to ensure full compliance with full autonomy for local governments. Jesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
Nations have continued to trail the yet another increase in the pump price of petrol to over 10%. The NNPCL had increased its price from 897 to 1,030 naira, while other marketers increased from 997 naira to between 1,200 and 1,115 naira. Following the announcement, queues are gradually building in NNPCL major stations and other petrol stations. The hike is coming after NNPCL's exit as a middleman in the Dangote refinery, which means it will no longer cover the price gap between the facility's price and the selling price to retailers. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Labour Congress is calling on the federal government to reverse the hike in price of petrol. NLC president in a statement says the latest increase has affected the calculations of Nigerians on the price of petrol. Senior reporter Theophilus Elama is monitoring this development. He joins me live on the news. Theophilus, some filling station practically shut down in anticipation of this price hike. What's the current situation today in Lagos, and how much is petrol selling per litre?
Well, Nifemi, at this point, Lagosians are actually not happy with the situation. Of course, looking at the fact that just yesterday there was an increment, and today every other filling station, even as of yesterday, every filling station had adhered to the increment. We are on the expressway close to Beja axis, so we're actually at Alausa bus stop, and we have a few stations, you can see just behind me, selling at 996 naira per litre. That's about 2 naira lower than the NNPC's price. And so a lot of people here have been stranded here for quite a long time. Some have told me since 7 a.m. they've been here. Some said since 8 a.m. they've been here. And this is past 12 noon. They've been here for a long time. So I took a walk into what's happening in the fuel station, and we realized that the operators there, first of all, they had only 2 pumps working, and within those 2 pumps, just one of the nozzles were being used to sell fuel to people, and we could also see a lot of jerry cans being sold there. So that has actually contributed to a lot of people waiting here for quite a long time. If I can do a 360 movement, you see their daily responsibility. It's a lot, and the emotions are quite high for a lot of people here who are not happy with the situation. Earlier, I spoke with a woman who had her 2 children in the car. Because they didn't have fuel, she couldn't take them to school, and the car is very low on fuel that it can't go to the school and back, and so the children have missed their school today. And she told me that the school called her and said they have missed the tests for today. It's quite a pathetic situation for a lot of Nigerians who were not expecting this situation, and now that there's an increment, they cannot get a product easily because of the attendance issues happening. A lot of fuel kegs in the fuel stations, the filling station that we are in at this point. So it's quite a huge situation for a lot of people here. They're not happy with the situation of things. You feel me?
Another day you watch the news and it turns your belly. Theophilus, terrible situation there for those who have to wait long hours to get the commodity. But precisely, why is there such a long queue? Is it because of the competitive price that particular filling station is selling the commodity? Or what have you seen around the neighboring filling stations?
So I think it's because of a competitive price. 2 naira below the NNPCL price of 998 naira. A lot of people will come here, but other fuel stations sell quite a bit above. Some are selling at 1,050 naira. Others are selling at 1,030 naira. Some are selling at 1,000 flat itself. And so, because of all of this competitive prices, people will prefer to go to a place where they can get the products at a bit minimal price. And so, you go to the fuel stations that are selling above the NNPC price, or having their own price maybe above 1,000 naira, and you see that a lot of times it might be scanty, and people going there are just going there to get the product to move on to the next responsibility that they have to handle. So it's because of the competitive price, and of course you see that it has affected the cost of transportation as well, because that has gone a bit higher because of the increment in price. Of course, we also saw the black marketers are having their way as well, because now with this fuel station, where we first got in here, we realized that one came to meet me and said, I can buy fuel, I can rent the jerry can for 2,000 naira, then get the products. I mean, it's quite a situation here. But Nifemi, that's the situation we see here today.
Indeed. Senior reporter Theophilus Elamar live for us on the Berger axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, where there's a terribly long queue there of commuters trying to get fuel. We'll get back to him for more updates subsequently. To other news now, as the world commemorates this year's Mental Health Day, the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, is calling for more commitment to improving mental health awareness and enjoined individuals to seek medical help and early counseling. The First Lady, in a statement, calls on individuals to speak up, explaining that emotions bottled up is the beginning of mental health issues and challenges that confront individuals. According to Senator Oluremi Tinubu, if there were no fears of stigmatization, people would tend to speak openly about their struggles, thus leading to early diagnosis and thereby improving recovery outcomes. This year's theme is time to prioritize mental health in the workplace. Is timely, especially in times like these when most people feel dissatisfied at the workplace for several reasons that could affect one's mental well-being. We'll get more insight on the World Mental Health Day subsequently as we speak with experts in the course of these bulletins and others. You want to watch out for that. And still on health matters, the Oyo State government says it would continue to put appropriate measures in place to stop the spread of cholera across the state, while appealing to residents to adhere strictly to the state's environmental laws and maintain a clean and healthy environment. The State Commissioner for Health, Oluwa Sherimi Ajetumobi, at an interactive session with journalists in Ibadan, confirmed that over 200 suspected cases have been recorded this year and 1 case of death. On his part, the State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Wasiu Olatubosu, revealed that the ministry has continued to increase the internally generated revenue of the state through tourism and hospitality.
A total of 245 suspected cases of cholera in the state. And when you say suspected, that does not mean that they have cholera, but they have the symptoms of cholera: vomiting, diarrhea, weakness. But for confirmed cases, 23 confirmed cases. As at yesterday evening, a total of 9 victims or patients are still on admission at our infectious disease center.
Ministry has started generating a lot of revenue for the state. For instance, we have introduced that any organizations or group, any organization or group that wants the state to partner with, the state, will first of all, before we give out endorsement letter, you first of all have to pay into the state purse.
We'll return with more stories after this break. Stay with us, everyone.